another e-bike, something we haven't talked about yet, is the new Santa Cruz Bullet. Came out just after Sea Otter.
Exactly, just after, yeah. So basically the lowdown is, it is a new version of the Bullet, obviously, but it's just more like a big brother to the Vala. So it's now horse link suspension. It looks almost identical to the Vala with an untrained eye, or even someone who's pretty keen. And it has 170, 170. It's a mullet bike. It touts sort of this free ride ready, fully aggressive geometry. And it's got this new Bosch Gen 5 motor, same as the Vala. Great system, obviously. Now, arguable whether or not it's up to snuff with this new DJI system or the new Specialized motor, but Bosch is in market. You can get them now. You could get them weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where we're at. And I think it's the best entrant that's mass market available. Tell me, like, I think the discussion here with the Bullet is, and the Vala, where is Santa Cruz going? It's more of like a brand question than is this a good product? I guarantee you this is an awesome bike. Santa Cruz is known to have the best fit and finish, awesome builds, a little more on the premium side, obviously, expensive, but are we seeing Santa Cruz kind of move this big ship? Are they going to go all horse link? Are we going to see all the bikes look like this in the future? Or is it exclusive to the e-bikes? And then just in general, what makes these bikes special now? You know, VPP was their moat. That's what made them interesting, their pedigree, all that. But why are these special? Obviously, like I said, great bikes, but I'd like your feedback.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the horse link kind of making its presence more consistent on the Santa Cruz line, but it is kind of obvious why. It's because of the packaging with the motor. And I think it is something you would kind of see only on the e-bikes. I think they kind of got killed in the reviews in the history when they had tried to squeeze that VPP package in there with the motor, and it didn't really work that well. Mm-hmm. The bikes didn't have that Santa Cruz feel, if you will. You know, reading some of the feedback from Kieran, their main suspension and R&D guy, these new horsed link bikes, they have that Santa Cruz feel. So if, you know, traditionally, I believe it's a more linear bike, the way that those bikes feel. They're really plush off the top. From what they're saying is it's back to that, and it feels good. It is interesting when you ask the question, though, where are they going? They're conforming their design to fit motors and things like that. It's hard to know where you're going when that's calling the shots. It is going to be harder to stand out amongst the rest. Yeah, that is like, what is the differentiator? I think
that's the point, is when you can get a, for example, Transition Regulator CX, it's a meaningful amount less expensive. Same motor system, exact same battery, honestly, pretty similar geo, same wheel size setup, similar travel, whatever. You can repeat that statement with maybe 5 other bikes now. Why would I get the Santa Cruz other than the name Santa Cruz? And while that will still be a reason for people, that dies out eventually.
Okay. Well, I can't say why you would, but the little bit that I do know about the difference of those two bikes, and I probably would choose the Santa Cruz strictly because of the fact that the Geo on this new Bullet is pretty much a V10. They've pulled that Geo right from the V10, and kind of the tweaks that they've done to the Geo over the years, they know what does what, and that has gone straight into this bike. And if I'm on a 170, 160 e-bike, I'm going to be riding some gnarly trails, and I want this thing to probably feel and become a training bike because it feels like my downhill bike.
Right. That
kind of makes sense, and I would probably lean more towards the Santa Cruz because of that. And that's what I'd be looking for when I got on it, is like, okay, but does this thing feel like a V10? Because I have ridden V10s, and that probably is the most comfortable downhill bike I've ever ridden from coming on. Like, obviously you ride your trail bike 10, 12 hours a week. You get on your downhill bike maybe 10, 12 hours a year. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they feel like foreign objects.
Right.
But with the V10, it always felt like a bike. It felt good, and you could jump on it. And I would be looking for that out of this new Bullet for sure.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's a separate conversation, which is VPP even superior to Horselink? I think Santa Cruz specifically, when he's designing these bikes, appreciated the freedom that they had with designing the leverage ratio, you know, what they could do with the suspension. And VPP, while awesome, I think is very limiting to them. And like you mentioned, practically impossible when you fit that motor in there. So I still think they're not limited with this suspension setup. There's a reason why so many bike manufacturers are using this setup. Easy to tune, works really well. And I don't think anyone's going to be like, give me my VPP back. like I said, it's just something to consider.
Yeah, it's all right. Someone's going to come out with the sickest transmission, but you have to have a standardized suspension platform, and everyone will have the same suspension. So
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what we're seeing with these motors too. So
yeah, it's starting to, but yeah, people will still innovate. It'll happen. Things will change. I've seen some crazy stuff, dude.
yeah,
We talked about the lefty already.
yeah.